right, so I've got about 20 minutes between now and my next meeting, just enough time to shake a couple of hands and down a bucket of coffee or something, or maybe a couple of buckets. I'll see. And after that, I'm going to be meeting with Kiran Patankar of Maple Gold Mines. They're a $55 million gold explorer/developer with assets in Quebec's Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Recently raised about $5 million, including some money from Michael Gentile. So that's an interesting angle that we might touch upon. But also $5 million, not all that much money relative to the size of the project there. So they're going to have to be efficient with it. And hopefully I'm going to figure out how they plan on doing that. All right, Kiran, what is it that you just raised some money, $5 million, relative to the market cap and the size of the project? Not an incredible amount of money, but nothing either. So you got to be efficient with it. What is it that you're going to be spending that money on in order to generate shareholder value?
Well, we did announce and we're closing a $5 million financing today. So we do always focus on value enhancing exploration and development with our projects. The plan with this $5 million is to do focused exploration as we have been doing, following up on success that we had in our winter program at Douay. We've got targeted exploration 5,000 meters in the Nika zone where we had a great success, hole 338, which was one of the best intercepts ever drilled, down plunge extensions, high grade, and similar down plunge step out success at 531. So 5,000 meters there this fall, as well as a maiden program at Jutel, which is a past-producing high-grade gold mine complex that was, shut down in 1993 at far lower gold prices than where we are today. So we think with the combination of those two drilling activities, plus we've got a forthcoming mineral resource update and an internal scoping study and engineering trade-off study, which is really going to get us, a little bit of the bang for the buck here on two fronts with exploration plus focused development, I think is what's really going to create value for shareholders over the next couple of months.
What percentage of your money is going to go toward that versus the rest, which is running the company, marketing the company, making sure that you're keeping strategics happy and potentially talking to others or not? What percentage of that, what's that split going to be?
Well, I'll take it a little bit reverse. Strategics are very happy. We had Agnico participate in the last financing round, and we've got a great partnership there. I think your audience knows that. In terms of how we split the money, we raised $3.5 million worth of flow through. We also raised $1.5 million worth of hard dollar. I set out as a goal with this company 2 years ago when I took over. Obviously, we've completed the reset of the company now, but we've kept the G&A at or around $2 million a year, $150,000 to $175,000 per month. I don't anticipate expanding that because, again, I think we've optimized how we spend money as a company. We're at or near the low of what it takes to be a public company in Canada. Obviously, the shares have been outperforming. I think we've got a lot coming. So I think the majority of what we raised plus what we have in the till, we've got about $8 million all told with this completed financing. The majority of that is going to be going into the ground. I would say at least this fall, it's going to be $5 million minimum.
Being at or near the low in terms of G&A, which includes your marketing as well, is that the right spot to be during a bull market, though? What I mean by that is everyone's going to be trying to be loud, right? And so the amount of noise in the market is going to be, the average is going to be higher than normal. So in order for you to stand out, how do you stand out? How much money do you spend on marketing, and how do you manage that spend?
One of the ways I think we really stand out is when everybody else is being loud. Maple has a history of also being loud, not necessarily just in a bull market. We underpromise, we overdeliver, right? We consistently execute, as we've done for the last 2 years since I've taken over as CEO. We continue to spend minimum amounts as needed on marketing. Obviously, we're here at Beaver Creek. We've got a full schedule. We're presenting here. We don't push water uphill when the markets aren't there. We're not spending money on unnecessarily on marketing and roadshows and things like that when we have no news to share with the market. But in this case, we've completed a major reset of the company. We have been talking about that for the last 2 years, but this last announced transaction with the financing, with the rollback, which we just completed yesterday, with new, the board refresh with some great board members joining us, and a lot of catalysts coming up. It's a perfect time for us to be out talking to the market. That said, we don't anticipate dramatically improving or increasing our marketing budget because we are getting very effective marketing where we are, and that's evidenced not only in the inbounds that we've had had from investors, on the news flow that we've had. We've got people in the seat paying attention. But certainly the share price has been performing. So, we want to see that continue. We like the slow, steady march upward as opposed to the hockey stick type spike. And I think, the targeted investors that we have are really, we've got this great network of long, strategic, high net worth and institutional shareholders that we're building. So the retail is certainly someone that we focus on, but it's really for trading back and forth. I think as we build a long-term business, marketing is going to be a big part of that, but it's not really going to be a massive part of the budget relative to focused exploration and development.
The other part of your G&A is paying salaries to management and staff. As everyone is going to start making more and more money with a bull market, as it typically happens, are you going to have to increase management and staff salaries in order to keep everyone happy and incentivized enough?
I certainly hope not. I came in here with a mandate to really bring in and rein in waste, and we've got a smaller, leaner, meaner team. We've got a focused team. They bought into the vision that I've articulated. So people have they benefit from exposure to other things, like as the share price appreciates. We have share-based compensation and incentive compensation, things like that. There are smart ways for us to make sure that our team is properly incentivized to drive shareholder value and aligns with shareholder interest. I'm certainly one of the largest, if not the largest, shareholder on the insider group besides Agnico, and I want to see our money spent in the right way. We obviously need to retain the great staff that we have and attract new talent, but I don't see massive blowouts in terms of our G&A and our salaries because we do have a very focused and dedicated team who's doing great work.
What about your personal salary and KPIs and bonuses and stuff like that? Are you going to make more money if the company does better?
Preferably, and I think shareholders, this should be music to their ears, I make more money when the share price performs. And that's because I have exposure, direct exposure via my share ownership position and equity and options and things like that. In terms of the salary, I wouldn't expect that to be, dramatically increased. We did do a whole exercise, we've actually instilled as well better KPIs, better corporate governance practices, benchmarking, compensation, et cetera, encourage people to take a look at where we stand vis-a-vis our peers. But one of the things that we look at when it comes to CEO compensation, as with all of our C-suite and other people within the company, is we can always reward outperformance via bonuses, right? And at the end of the day, that's ultimately at the discretion of the board, the independent directors, the compensation committee. But we've got a highly functioning, very aligned group that's focused on the corporate governance aspects of the company and aligning compensation practices with peers, but also with the alignment and advancement of shareholder interests.